So I have a finished object that you haven't even seen as a work in progress. So hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my very small place on the internet where I talk about anything related to my knitting life, my knitting adventures, and my projects where I try to promote local yarns, local to me, of course. I am in France and in Normandy, so it may be very, very far away from where you are. And I try to also promote not to be spending too much on the yarn and using the one you have in your stash. So my name is Isabelle, I've already said that, and I'm in Normandy. And today it's going to be a regular video about my knitting adventures, a finished object that you haven't even seen as a work in progress. And regarding that sweater I have, or t-shirt, I have two main things to be talking about. I will show you Yara that has been blocked and is dry and everything. And I have a new work in progress. So if that is of any interest to you, please stay tuned. So I may just start with what I am wearing, even though I wanted to talk about Yara, but I will show it to you just after that. You've seen it multiple times on my channel. It's just going to be the last time you're going to be seeing it, unless I'm wearing it and it's a bit too warm today. So what am I wearing? And I need to get the book to get the name of the pattern. Eirys, something like that. Okay, yes, it is Eirys. I'm gonna write it on the screen and you're gonna show the pictures that I could find about this pattern. It's in the Ready Set Raglan book that I bought from Pom Pom. When was it released? It was released in 2020 by Pom Pom. And I bought that book when Pom Pom was having this offering of when they decided they were not going to be making any more publication, hardcover publication. You can still get the PDFs and the digital ones. So either individual patterns or sets in ebooks. And I got this one along with other ones, other Pom Pom regular editions, because I really am, I still am, into the process of trying to make my own sweaters. Of course I knit my own sweaters, but from other patterns. So some cat is eating in the bathtub. I'm not sure you can hear it. And so making my own pattern, starting from maybe a recipe and adjusting to my own yarn and my own ideas and stuff like that. So as a basic recipe for Raglan, I thought this was a good one. So Eirys is the most simple one. It's a very, very basic pattern. Okay, you have it here. Maybe you can see it. And it's a very basic Raglan pattern. So this is just, okay, I'm not sure I can find this picture. I can show you the page. This is just the regular recommendations for the pattern. And you see a very simple Raglan. You can choose your neckline. You can choose, of course, the bottom. You can choose the cuffs, the way the cuffs are. And here it's shown with different colors. But of course, with a basic recipe, once you know your gauge, you can do about anything you want. This is made for, if I recall correctly, of course, as I did not recall, I had to read, it's made for 18 stitches gauge. And there are many different options for yarn with that pattern. You see on the right, so different necklines. Here is a shorter neckband, split on the side, a higher rib at the bottom, So many different options, and you have other ones here. Anyway, I like this book very much because the patterns are very customizable and very, you can make it your own with your own yarn, and this is what I like. A pattern recipe. I know that tin can knits also have some kind of basic recipes too that I need to buy at some point. I want to buy it at some point. Anyway, we are in the summertime, even though sometimes it's not that warm here in Normandy and very rainy, but we still are in the summertime. And the weather forecasts a very warm week this week. So I am still in the summer knitting mood, and as I don't knit much summer garments, I thought rather than diving again in winter garments, I'm gonna roll on with that wave and stay on summer garments. So I made a t-shirt that you've seen last week, and I made the second one. I'm on vacation, so I have a bit more time, of course. And I started to look into my stash. I already had that dark blue in mind, and I wanted to make stripes. So I looked into my stash, and this dark blue, it's lin coton from Fil d'Art. And it's a commercial yarn that I got from my mother's, and it's 50 grams per ball and 100 meter per gram, so that's 125 meter per 50 grams, so that's 260 something per 100 grams. And you can knit that with 3 to 3.5 millimeter needles. Okay, so some kind of heavy fingering, decay weight, some kind of things like that. And I knew I also had this white, which is, so it's, the blue one is cotton and linen, and 50% cotton, 50% linen, and I did not recall it was 50% cotton and linen, and it's very nice to the touch. It was very pleasant to knit. It's a very plump yarn, or cotton yarn, very plump, very round. You're not going to be seeing anything unless I hide my eyes. You see, very plump, very round, and quite easy to knit. I used my wooden needles, and it did not hurt my hands at all, and it was quite slippery, but with a wooden needle it was okay. So I said, okay, it's a good find, because I did not know I had cotton and linen in my stash. I guess I knew, but I did not recall. And so the white one is also from my mother's stash, is also from Penguin, which is a commercial yarn producer in France. It's from many years ago, many moons back, maybe over 30 years ago, something like that. And this one is 60% cotton and 40% acrylic. So you can wash this one in the machine. And I think this one, they say you can also wash it, and both at 30 degrees. So it's mild temperature. So perfect, because I won't need to be taking care of too much of this one, just throwing in the washer, and that will be good, nice. I did not block it. I did not wash it. All my ends are weaved in. All the yarns are cut and everything, because with cotton and linen, I weave one way and the other way. I weave in both ways before I cut, and I left a longer thread. And when I wore it this morning, some of the threads were poking out, so I had to weave them back in. And so I need to wash it. I think there won't be much of a difference because it's so dark first, and maybe it will just even out the stitches, although the stitches are quite okay to me. So I will stand, I will show you what I did. So there were short rows in the back, and I want to talk about short rows because it was a discovery for me, I've never been happy with my short rows. I did wrap and turn, I did German short rows. I always thought my short rows were visible, and I just had to live with that. And I discovered a short row method that is totally invisible. Okay, so I made short rows at the top of the back. This is what is recommended in the pattern. I also made ones at the bottom. I made it a little bit more boxy, a little bit bigger than what I usually do. I guess I always see me with 10 kilogram less than I am right now because I can't walk any longer. So hopefully it will go away once I walk. But for now it's not the case. So I made it a bit bigger. And also I have one question at the changing colors. I know, and I have another method. I will share it also with you. Both of them are methods from other people. I will share them with you. But my changing colors are jogless. But where there is a raglan, the changing color or just the regular row is visible. So I guess something happened there. Maybe some of you know what happened. So I'm gonna first stand up so that you can see the t-shirt. Okay, so you will excuse my sweatpants, of course. I'm a good YouTuber. The top one is okay, and the bottom one is my either pajama pants or sweatpants. So, okay, the front, you already have seen it. So I chose to make a part with more of these dark blue, and there is also more of these dark blue at the bottom. The blue stripe is twice as much as the white stripe, so I made 4 rows for the blue stripe here and the intermediate stripe 8 rows. And at the bottom I made the 8 rows for the regular blue stripe and 8 rows for the ribbing. Just 2 by 2 ribbing because I wanted to lay it flat. I usually use twisted ribs, but I wanted to lay very flat. I did not split the sides. Same for the arms. So 8 rows for the blue and 8 rows for 2 by 2 ribbing here so that it lays very flat. And at the color I made a little bit less, maybe 5 rows for the colors. So there are short rows. Oh, maybe I should stand up more. Short rows in the back. And you see so I left, so you see you have another one here that is poking out. I left a fake seam with a pearl stitch on the side, and this is on the right side where I did change my colors. So you may see some of my ends that are weaved in. I hope it's gonna be less visible once it's washed, but I'm kind of happy with my jogless here my jogless changing colors. So the way, I'm not sure if it was in the back of the right sleeve or in the front of the right sleeve that I changed my colors, but they are just, the changing color is invisible. So as some of you have recommended, I've left the chime in my window. If it gets too loud, I will remove it because there is a little wind today. Anyway, so as I was saying, I am very happy, you see here, with my change in color. It's completely invisible, it's less flat. And this recipe for the jogless change, the jogless stripe, I guess that's the way you call it, is a recipe that I found on Neringa Ruke's Instagram. I will try to place the video here, record her screen and the screen and place the video, but I'm not sure I can manage to do that, or I'm not sure I have the right to do that. So I will link her post, her video on Instagram. Basically what you do, so you need your last round with your color. You slip your marker wherever you want to change the color. You need the first stitch with the previous color. You let the previous color yarn on the side, and you start right away with the new color without doing anything. No slip stitches, or maybe you slip the first one. I need to check that, but maybe you've slipped the first one, but I'm not even sure you do that because I did not do that. So maybe you have to do it from her recipe. Anyway, so you knit all around, and when you arrive to your marker with your new color, the next stitch is one with the new color. I guess the marker is here for you and the next stitch may be here. The next stitch is the one with the new color. Okay? So with you, the old color, excuse me. The next stitch is one with the old color. With the new color, you knit one stitch below. That one that is with the previous color. You tighten the yarn in the back and you just knit along your merry way with the new color, and you make a little knot. That's what she did, and that's what I did here, so that the yarn doesn't move around and too much, so that you can tighten and flatten out and even out all of the stitches. And the change in color is completely transparent. It's very flat. It's here. It's very flat. You don't see anything. You see, I manage my underarm very well. You don't see anything, or you don't see much. It's all flat. I'm gonna stand up. You see, you don't see much, and you see more of my weaving ends here that I did not manage very well than at the bottom, where I did go. I was paying more attention, and I said, no, I'm not redoing that. It's gonna be under my arm, on the side. You won't see anything. And you see here where I changed, I guess it was here. Once again, you don't see any jog. So if you are sensitive to the jog, when you change color when you striping in the round, I am. I know some people don't care. light and happiness upon you, but I don't like that. So that's one way to knit a jogless stripe. There are many recipes. I've already tried a few of them when changing colors or changing yarn or stuff like that. This is the one I think is the best for me. One question is why here there is no change in color. I mean, I was just knitting and increasing. Why are my stripes here so visible? Because you know, these 2 stitches or 4 stitches, the 4 whites are all one row below. The blue one is one row below, and the white one goes one row below. So if I'm too much bothered with that, I'm gonna duplicate stitch. I may just not, because it's all even all around, so it's all the same. So you know, maybe people can think it's a design element, and if they ask, I will say that. But when you are increasing with stripes, why does at the increase one of the color go beneath the other one when you knit from the top down? And I'm sure there is the answer somewhere. I haven't checked already, so if you have an idea, if you already know that, yeah, please let me know down below. And I have not looked at other people's striped t-shirt to see if I would see that or not. I had never paid attention to that until the first stripe, and even though even the first one I was not seeing it, it was all bunched up on my needles. It's whenever I separated for the sleeve that I said, but this is not smooth. This is not a smooth transition. And I'm a bit, okay. So if you have any idea of why when you stripe and increase, so I was increasing every other row. When you increase, maybe I should have broken my increase rhythm to increase in the black and in the white and not at the row in between. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know what I did and why it's doing it that way. So if you know, please tell me down below, and I will probably be looking for information on my own, but it doesn't bother me too much, and I've just decided that I will let that go. Okay, the longest, what am I wearing today in history? The second thing I want to talk about with that sweater, and that is a very positive one, and I can't show you because you won't see anything. I can't show you, is the way to make short rows. As I said, I've never been happy with my short rows unless it was in garter stitch, where the short rows are very invisible, or in very fuzzy yarn, where the fuzziness of the yarn masks the short rows. I've never been happy with my short rows. I've tried many different methods, many different ways, and I always ended up knitting one stitch below from the back to pull it up, and it was always visible. I think it was in Japanese knitting Facebook group. I mean, different Facebook groups for Japanese lace, and because once again, I want a basic t-shirt or sweater recipe where I can do Japanese lace on it, on my own, from one of my Japanese stitch Bibles I have to. Anyway, so I'm in these groups to get ideas, to see what people have done, which kind of yarn they use and everything. And one person asked a question, and I usually don't read these posts. I'm just there for the pictures. I should not say any, because I'm not contributing other than taking ideas from others. And I know it's not good for a group, but I don't have much time, and I'm dedicating my time here. So anyway, and someone was asking for a question, and it was about a symbol. And of course, I know it's in the book, so I usually don't read these type of posts, because I know that either this is a question that I'm not asking myself, or second, because the answer is in the book. So I usually don't read these kind of posts. But the picture they had shown was a bit intriguing to me, because I had never seen it, and I could not guess from the drawing what it was. It was a stitch from the stitch dictionary. It was a stitch, and I could not understand, because I knew some part of it were short rows, but there were other parts. There was a dot, and I was thinking, what's that symbol? Anyway, I read the post, and fortunately, I read the post. The symbol is for Japanese short rows. Okay, I had never heard of that. Maybe I've been living under my rock, under a stone for so long. I never heard of Japanese short rows. I've never heard of people saying they were doing Japanese short rows. I've heard of German short rows or wrap and turns, and usually people, even in the patterns, they call for either, they say use your preferred method, your preferred method, wrap and turns or German short rows. They don't offer other short rows. I did not even know there were other possibilities, and of course, I'm sure it's obvious there are other possibilities, but I never had that question myself. So I looked into it, and in the comments there were several videos recommendations, and one of them, the lady said, forget all the other ones, because they miss one step, and only this video is showing it correctly. The name of the person is Heather Storta. I will link her video down below so that you can have a look for yourself. Basically, once again, I'm just gonna say it out loud the way I'm doing it. So this is where you slip one stitch. So I guess with the drugless stripes, you don't slip a stitch. In that case, you slip a stitch, and you place a marker. So I use a light bulb an opening marker, a marker that you can open. So I placed a light bulb there on the yarn, and then you turn and you continue your merry way. So the thread of yarn that is marked with the stitch marker is the one between two stitches. So you continue. When you resolve that short row, that Japanese short row, you pull on the marker and you place that thread of yarn to make it short, so that when you knit it with your next stitch, it's behind the stitch. So depends if you're knitting or purling, of course. So you place it with the legs with the same orientation for the legs of the stitch on the back of the next stitch you are going to be knitting. And pulling on that yarn closes the gap. Knitting it with the stitch of the next row, of the row above, also pulls on the yarn and secures that thread of yarn that is pulled, that has closed the gap. And it's completely invisible. I'm not going to be showing you because it's dark blue, so you won't see anything anyway. I may try to take a picture and place it here so that maybe you can see that you don't see anything. But anyway, this makes the short row totally invisible, or resolving the short row totally invisible to me. And it's so obvious when you think of it that you have to close the gap and knit with the stitch of the row above and place this thread of yarn so that this thread falls behind the stitch you are knitting, so you don't see it. So clever, and I thank you a lot from the Japanese the Japanese knitting group. If you are in it, I thank you a lot, because this was an excellent tutorial and an excellent way for me to make my short rows. If you have totally invisible short rows with German short rows or wrap and turns, once again, light and angel songs upon you, because it was not the case for me, and I was always bothered, and I was always thinking I have to live with these imperfections, and I was okay, I don't know, I can't do better. And people always talk about how hiding your short rows, and anyway, I had just abandoned the idea of finding anything related to that. Thanks a lot once again. Thank you very much, Heather Storta, for filming that video. That is very simple to see. I know I've never done that. Maybe I have done it already. I will try to see if I can place a little piece of that video here on mine. Otherwise, I'll just link it down below. So once again, I've learned new things. Japanese short rows. I've knit some of my stash. I have that much left of the blue. I used 6 balls, I think. I have also that much left that was probably already knit and wound up. So I may make a scarf or something like that. I had 3 balls of the white, and I just have that left and the 2 other ones. And lastly, I have tried again to knit with that horrible. I'm officially placing that yarn that my mother gave me in the horrible space. It's some kind of a fuzzy, shiny thread on a very plasticky and very coarse other thread. I will close my window or I will remove the shine because there is too much wind and too much noise. And this was the last chance. I had tried already to knit with it as is, horrible. So I was thinking when I made the swatch, because of course I did not know that cotton, I was thinking maybe I can use it as a stripe. So here I tried with the white, and here is what it does when it's knit with another yarn. It's horrible. It's just plain horrible. So I don't like to throw away yarn, so I'm just gonna show it to the ladies who do some crochet at the group when I see them again, because if they want it, because it's just horrible. Maybe they can do some, or maybe we can do some embellishments, or I'll try to do it. It's terrible, terrible. Anyway, very happy with my t-shirt. Okay, I had to stop recording. I was talking about Yara by Natasha Hornby. I had to stop recording because if you ever come to France, don't be afraid. Every first Wednesdays of the month, and it's between 11:45, so a quarter to noon, and a quarter past noon, so 12:15, all of the emergency sirens are being tested. They scream maybe 4 minutes or something like that, 5 times or 6 times. And so don't be afraid. Every first Wednesday of the month, the sirens, the emergency sirens, are tested in France between a quarter before noon or a quarter past noon. And I had to stop recording, it was too loud. Anyway, so take 2 on Yara. You've seen it so many times. But now it's blocked, it's dry, and I absolutely love it. And I'm not wearing it because it's a bit too warm, even though I removed the shine because I think there is a lot of wind and the sun is gone, so maybe we'll have some rain or something. Anyway, I used Old Gone Super Soft for the light gray, the dark gray, and the yellow. The yellow was held double, and I used Tides for the white, and the white was held double also for the pot. It smells good. So here is Yara, all blocked, all dried, in all its beauty, for this very beautiful slip stitches and mosaic color work. I've already worn it. I wore it at Atelier Pure Laine when I was there, and I was weaving my ends in because it was quite cold, and I had summer clothes on me, and it was very cold. So I was weaving the ends with Yara around me, and I'm gonna show you. So this is one thing that is quite important to see is the back. You see the back? The back is, to me, as beautiful as the front, and it's important in a shawl because sometimes, shawls move with us, and it's not always the right side that you are going to be seeing, and you need to see how the wrong side is, and the wrong side of Yara is perfect. Perfect. I really love it. I'm happy with the border. I'm happy I made the bubbles because sometimes I consider, I don't like much, little bubbles and pom-poms and stuff like that. But I'm happy I did it. Of course, I won't wear it with that because it doesn't go together. But yes, I'm very happy. It stays in place once you wear it. I have a very nice shawl pin to secure it if I want to. And I like the effect, I like the colors, I like everything about it. And I think my next shawl, I've already said that, but of course I say things that I don't follow myself, but I think my next shawl is going to be another of Natasha Hornby's shawl that I have in my library, and most probably Luna in white and blue. I have the yarn for that, and that I had bought at the same time. I did this very big yarn purchase that threw me in my no-buy project, and I'm very happy I have them now that I'm knitting. This beautiful pattern from by Natasha Hornby. And just to say, I love the way in some parts, so that's either the beginning or the end of the first part, both ends have that little darker or main color spot. The way that in one border you go one way, and at the top of the shawl you go the other way. And it makes a very, very satisfying to me symmetry, or the way the color and the motifs talk together. The main border being very much more with more patterns than the top is a very good idea. Even, of course, who am I to say she has good ideas? And of course, with some kind of more design here that you can find again. Anyway, and that you can find again in the main border. So the top border has echoes in the bottom. The top of the shawl has echoes with the bottom of the shawl. I really love that. I love everything. It's a very clever pattern, beautiful pattern. She has beautiful ideas, and the patterns are very well written. You never ask yourself anything about the patterns themselves. All my drawbacks were just in my head, as you know now, but you should not be afraid of knitting this shawl, because taking it little by little steps by little steps, one stitch after the other, the main border, I have no bad recollections of anywhere I was knitting on that shawl, other than ones that stopped me because I was thinking, I'm afraid of doing this, and I was wrong. Okay, next, work in progress. Next work in progress, the sock for my second son. So these yarns are Lang yarn. Once again, the slow color changing one is Twin, and with the pop of another regular Lang yarn. So you see it's gonna go from dark purple to maybe pink, and I'm not sure I will go to the pink. So I've knit the leg of the first sock. I need to knit the heel, so I'm just going to go with the one heel that I have been doing with my other sons, a regular heel flap and gusset. Now my recipe is very clearly written in my notebook and in my head, so I just need to work on that. And of course I have not been doing much because I was knitting on my t-shirt, and I was knitting only on my t-shirt. So this is what I want to have, a portable project, knit here and there. I'm not in a rush, and I'm thinking about knitting some Christmas knits that I want to be knitting before the end of the month, because after that it's going to be maybe a bit more complicated for me. So I don't know. I'll see what I'm going to be doing, because I want to knit the sock. I want to start on some Christmas knitting. And of course, I've casted a new sweater. So, okay, next. As I said, I've casted on a new sweater. I'm not going to be talking about Gallant in Nutiden. It's that perfectly blue Nutiden. It's too warm, so it's still waiting for cooler days. Because I just have one sleeve to finish and redo some of the hems, and so I will have all the bulk of the sweater on me, and it's quite warm. It's too warm anyway, and I'm not sure it would be comfortable. So for now I've left it alone on the side, and I will get to it once I think the temperatures are better. So I've casted on a new sweater, not a sweater, a vest. And I had said I'm not going to be doing any more project with Lenal West, because I've already done it once and it's okay. And maybe I should leave my spot to other people, have other people knit for them. So this project from Lenal West is that they give you the yarn. So they choose which yarn line they want to have people knit patterns with the yarn. 3 patterns from drops, because drops allows them to redistribute the pattern with the yarn, and they take pictures, and so they have samples to show to people who come to their shop or their online shop, I guess. And so they have other samples to show rather than the few sweaters they had knit themselves, because as they say, they are not knitters. They know how to knit, but they don't. They take care of the sheep and they make the yarn. They knit less than that. So anyway, I had said, okay, next time I won't. But so the first time around, they were asking for people to knit with their fingering yarn, and the pattern they had offered, they had a list of maybe 10 or 15 or 20 patterns, different patterns, or maybe more, some for kids too. And this pattern that I chose last time, I knit with fingering held double, so it's a winter sweater, clearly. This time around, it was all with a sports weight. So you may recall, I have already knit with a sports weight. I have 2 cones, so I knit several. I knit a vest, the Emworth vest, other pieces with this yarn. I have the Fleur de Sel, which is the natural grayish brown, and Accroche Coeur, which is the natural beigey one. And they have another natural color, which is Rose des Sables. Rose des Sables, in English, it's a pinkish stone. I will not write the name. I think it's jasper, but I think also you have an English. Is it sand rose or something like that? I will knit it right down below. So a pinky natural color, pinky beigey natural color. And so I did not buy that yarn last time. The yarn was calling my name from the shelf, but I did not buy any. And so they had another call for knitters to knit patterns with the sports weight. And I guess they will move to the heavier weight later on. And so I offered to knit a vest with their sports weight, and in the very light blue, a very pale, cold pale blue that they have. And I had said maybe also the Rose des Sables if you don't have any of the blue one. And so they said they were out of stock of the blue one. And last week, one of the ladies from Lena West was in Caen with her son for a museum and movies and stuff like that day in the big city. And so she brought the yarn to me. So I have 4 skeins, 4 100-gram balls or skeins of this Fleur des Sables and Rose des Sables, of this Rose des Sables. And you see maybe the light is not showing, but there is a very light pink hue on the beigey background. And I liked it very much. It's not very uniform. I've casted on, so I just need the bottom border. And you see, it's a very, you have heather hues in that. You have different hues. Maybe I'm showing you the wrong side, or am I showing you the right side? I'm not sure. But I liked it when it's not completely homogeneous, and I like the different little hues you can find in the knitting. So, of course, I did not say what I had casted on. So the pattern is Forest Gem. And Forest Gem, you have 2 patterns there. One is a cardigan, and it looks to me more than like a coat. It's with cables and a heavier yarn. And there is a sleeveless t-shirt or vest in the same pattern that you can choose from. And I did choose the vest because what I said to them, I'm not sure that I can commit for a full sweater before the end of the month. And if it's not done before the end of the month, I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to do it. So it's quite It's quite close to the Emsworth that I had been doing with the same yarn in accroche coeur, so in just beigey, yellow beigey cream type of color, natural cream type of color. I like this one very much, and you see close to the white, it's really rosy, a rosy beige. I liked it very much. And but the construction is completely different. You need a front, you need a back. I made it a bit oversized because oversized from what I'm used to be doing. I'm knitting the middle size, but my needles are smaller for me to get gauge. So we'll see, it's gonna be around the middle size, I guess. And you knit a front and a back, and then you join when Emsworth is knit from the top down. So we'll see how this goes. I will concentrate on that pattern for them to finish it by the end of the month. I will also concentrate on the socks, and if the weather permits, on gallant. And this is the only things I want to be working on in the next few weeks. I'm not sure how I'll be uploading by the end of the month, because I had decided I was going to pre-record for September, because I won't be around. And my beloved brother-in-law and sister-in-law are coming next week. So I'm not sure if, and the last week of August, I have many different medical appointments and different things. So I'm not sure how I will be able to record and edit and upload before. So I may break my regular weekly uploading schedule. It's been 3 years. I guess I've crossed the 3rd year mark at some point, either at the end of July or this August. I don't even recall. I've not been taking care of my knit-along, the matching knit-along for knitting matching accessories from leftover yarn you've had, or matching sweater from leftover yarn you had from an accessory. So I guess it would be easier if I postpone the deadline after the end of the month. I had said it was for the end of August or beginning of September. But at the time, I did not know I would not be around during September. So I may postpone that for November, so that you are not bothered with all the Christmas stuff. Or if you want to knit some Christmas stuff, if it can go there. And I have more time to take care of this knit along after September. Anyway, there are very few of you who've entered, so that's good. That's good for you, because I will draw a prize from all the entries. I will link down below the Ravelry threads that I've set up, and there is a hashtag on Instagram, but very few people have used it. Good for you, because maybe I should not be talking about that and just at one point say, okay, there were 10 people there, so you have 1/10 of a chance to win what I have in mind. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope that your knitting is bringing you joy and happiness. This one did certainly, this week or this past 2 weeks, did certainly bring me lots of joy, because I have 2 t-shirts, 2 summer t-shirts. Yara is done, and the other projects are rolling along, so just fine. And I hope you are able to place joy and happiness in your stitches, because it's not going to come all by itself, especially in this very weird world we are living in, and much tension and much suffering. And maybe concentrating one stitch at a time and placing joy in that one stitch helps build up internal joy and happiness that you can spread along if you can build it up for yourself. So yes, I thank you very much for being here with me, and I hope I will see you next time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Top. So maybe, I'm not sure, I'm going to start 5. Top. And of course the other one is on the floor. Top. Because it's not gonna cool. I have already knit with their sports weight in the fleur de sel, which is rose de sable. I guess it's these. I have not been taking care of my little knit along for